Hello and welcome to the video, everyone. I am Vand3rHorst, the channel host, and I am very excited to have you here for this video. I do research into like all things esoteric, occult knowledge, like Aleister Crowley, stuff like that. And what I do is I put it to the meat grinder of the minds and eyes of a 21st century perspective. And I just try to bring it to you in the best video format possible. So I really hope that you all enjoy the videos that are made and everything. But before we get into the actual meat subject of the video, let me remind you to go and hit that subscribe button to the channel to stay up to date with future videos that are posted and live streams, because I live stream very frequently, multiple times a week. I also upload multiple times a week as well. So like I said, hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so that way you too can stay up to date for all things occult and esoteric that, you know, you didn't even realize that you actually needed. I really appreciate it. You know, thank you for your support. Let's get into the video. In this episode, we are going to be studying Hermetics, or Hermeticism. Hermeticism is the study of magic as a sacred spiritual science, okay? It teaches us how to understand and utilize like the natural laws of the universe. It is, in the truest sense of the term, like the knowledge of all knowledges. Since like time immemorial, the Magi, the high priests, they were considered like the most knowledgeable among a lot of like ancient tribes, and even so to the point that the word magic actually originated from them. But common throughout history, there was a lot of charlatans and fakers who would go around swindling people's fake psychics, fortune tellers, that sort of like. You just had to be really careful back then. There was just no telling who was going to be able to get one over on you. A true magician or a sorcerer is going to despise such actions as wanting to take over another person or to like manipulate them for their own good, okay? A true magician is going to despise this action because they're actually going to understand the laws of equivalence of energy. What you put out is going to come back to you. It has no choice. It has to balance out the scales. It's just how it works. So to a true magician who studies Hermetics, you don't really see good or evil, right, wrong, black, white. You see lessons to be learned and blessings to be earned, okay? This can be a really like twisted concept to learn in the beginning because you really don't understand why bad things happen to good people until you understand that those good people have something to learn. It's like being forged in fire. The best armor and like the best steel back in medieval times was forged in the hottest fires and the densest crucibles. So, according to the Hermetics and the Hermetical Laws, you will gradually begin to purify your spirit and to be able to ascend higher and higher vibrations, becoming more in tune with your divine energy or power, okay? Because these Hermetics actually understand that we affect the universe as the gods do, not only on a physical level, okay, knock on wood, that sort of physical level, but vibratorily, with our thoughts. Thoughts have power. They have a literal reading that you can hook measurements up to your head and have a positive thought, and it will have a real measurement that a person can tell you. It's amazing. Thoughts have power. The ancient magicians knew that your thoughts had power. They knew that your inner monologue controlled your entire reality, okay? Affirmations, all of that stuff was able to retroactively bring about a different set of circumstances that you would be able to take down your life path to get to your new goal that you would be setting. It's really twisted to think about. But to a true magician, time doesn't really go linearly either. One of the interesting concepts is the act of forgiveness in a mental state is actually you in the present going to your past when a actual negative situation happened, or even a positive, to relive it, and you are able to consciously, okay, put yourself back in that position of pain or pleasure, live it, realize the lesson that exists within it, and then come back to the present, and then heal from that experience, and then take the experience with you from now into the future, and to gain true understanding and wisdom from this. It's quite remarkable, actually, to be able to see the process happening and to understand how the universe has stuff unfold for us as we walk the path of light in front of us. It's quite remarkable. And it really is just amazing to see how much of a sacred science it really is that magic is. So not only did these ancient priests exist, but at one time, they actually kept this knowledge from the masses, believing that too much power on the individual would create a critical thinking human being, and thus would create dissent between the control systems that exist and the living conditions that existed for the labor force, okay? And thus, we have seen multiple revolutions throughout history, which is honestly why we study this stuff on my channel here, okay? What I love personally about Hermetics is that I have found that the principles I have learned universally, okay, allow me to be able to witness the patterns that life has. For example, for every good, there is going to be a bad. It is a balance of energy. We mentioned that before. But what wasn't mentioned was when you ascend higher up the levels of thinking, purer and purer thoughts, what you're not told is that your highs and lows, peaks and troughs, are much, much more intense and rapid. So it's like you have ups and downs that are very, very close together. One thing that Hermetics does teach us, though, is that magic, just like money or technology or any of that, is neither good nor evil in its base form. It all solely depends on the individual and how they use it, whether they use it to manipulate the masses or whether they use it for the greater good, to elevate humanity as a whole, which is kind of what you're seeing in the age of Aquarius and the dawning of everything that we're having now, the great revealing, all of this stuff, going back to the December 21st stuff. All of that is sort of in a nutshell, wrapped in these concepts in Hermetics. So Hermetics actually teaches us that all of reality exists in 6 different elemental principles. You have the fire principle, the earth principle, the air principle, the earth principle, the light principle, and the principle of the Akasha, or the ether, okay? It also teaches us about the laws of karma and dharma, which we mentioned before is about the law of equivalence of energy. Karma specifically is about what you do to others, it comes back to you. And dharma is the wheel or the cycle of good and bad that we go through in life, that ups and downs that I was mentioning before, about how as we go through it, through enough time, you start to witness more of the same thing happening, or at least references of the same stuff happening, the same lessons over and over and over again. So through understanding comes wisdom, okay? Through understanding comes pattern recognition and comes wisdom. Hermetics also really, really emphasizes how you need to purify the physical body, because there is a bond, a trinity bond between the physical body, the mental mind, and the spiritual body, okay? It is all connected. We are all one, and Hermetics teaches us that we are all connected all the time. We understand this now in quantum mechanics as quantum entanglement, how all moments in space and time are connected all the time, like always. Hermetics also dives into the physical and the material plane about this third dimension, how things come into existence through matter and vibration coalescing particles together and creating a lattice work and creating an actual physical object. Hermetics actually covers so many topics, it's hard to do just 1 or 2 or even 5 or 10 episodes on it. And that's why we're doing this as an introductory episode, because from this, we will be able to take it like chapters in a book. I love it. But the ultimate goal of Hermetics is to bring the sorcerer or the user of it back to the recognition that we are always connected to divine source, and it is within us. It's not some external thing that we have to reach for. Now, granted, prayer is a very, very big proponent of Hermeticism, because your inner monologue, the more often that you talk to yourself, really does shift your reality in front of you. Like, positive affirmations really do make that much of a difference. They really do. I can tell you honestly, I have been starting every day of my life for the last at least year or 2 years now with positive affirmations, okay? It changes your life. It changes your life. But the most important thing that Hermetics instructs, besides the divine providence connection, is that through the purification of the body and the sheer dominance of the mind, okay, through the connection of those two, your spiritual body comes in alignment with your intestinal fortitude and your mental will in order to create things in front of you, the literal true reality that exists only in your dreams. And as an added bonus, there's a scripture that says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things yet seen, okay? I want you to take from this video, and I really want you to actually think about how much power your mind has, and the fact that several millennia of years have gone into a field of study called Hermetics that came to us not only from ancient Egypt, from through Rome, Greece, all of that, through a gentleman named Hermes Trismegistus, or the thrice great Hermes, okay? We have him to thank for all of this. And you have the power to create a truly beautiful, dreamlike reality in front of you by studying this material. I am also living proof of this. There are several of my friends who study this material personally, so I actually have a personal connection of this of over 2 decades. I also have a personal connection to things like transcendental meditation. The Maharishi Mahesh Yogi is actually the one who created the transcendental meditation technique back in the 50s. That's another thing that's worth looking into, and I'll definitely be doing another episode on that. So, I will leave you with one of the Hermetical lessons to begin with after this first episode. Control your mind. You need to know there are 40 to 60,000 thoughts that you have in a day. You don't need to control all of them. Your goal is to control not only your ability to control the flow of your thoughts, but when you have a negative thought or a thought you don't like, you can recognize it, acknowledge it, allow it to pass, and then let it go. Like a leaf on water flowing down a stream. You can do it. Bruce Lee says, be like water. Become the container that you are in. You can do it. I believe in you, and I will see you on the next episode. Before we go, if you liked the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give the video a like, and tell me a comment about what you liked about the video. This has been Hermetics Episode 1. I really appreciate everybody, and thank you for watching. Y'all have a great night.